lines and people at the store. I mean, can someone tell me what is the deal with tissue? What the? I'm like, you're not going to go home and just like let it all out and feel like I need tissue. Where did this originate?
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the magamedia.org podcast. I'm Andrew at SmallTownAndrew on Twitter. This is Rob Harper at RobJH1 on Twitter. And how are you doing during the outbreak thus far, Rob?
You know, I'm surviving. I'm surviving. I'm an American. We will all survive. And that's my message to our viewers and our listeners today. We will get through this. We've got through 9/11. We've had rougher times before, and we survived. So we will survive this as well.
Absolutely. A lot of news to cover since the last time we were on with you, including the coronavirus, Chuck Schumer with the Senate, lots more with the Supreme Court, lots of other things to cover. First off, we'll cover the coronavirus. Today, President Trump had a press conference at the White House and called a national emergency so he can use funds from FEMA and other things to fund the coronavirus. We've seen so much news come out about the coronavirus so far this week. What have been your thoughts, Rob, with the mass cancellations from NBA, NCAA, NHL, basically any event with arenas? It's just been craziness.
You know, I live in New York City, and there's been talk that they're going to shut down the subway, which is like one of the lifelines of the city. They shut down Broadway. Any public events that's more than, I think, 200 people, they're shutting down. Walking in the streets, it's not as crowded. I went to the store not too long ago, and the store was like mad crazy. Subways weren't crowded. And I think that, to a degree, I think that we're overreacting, but I understand what's happening because if this disease, which was created or started, originated in China, yes, China, not the United States, folks, China. And when we first learned of this back in December of 2019, this is when the Democrats were trying to impeach the president, and the president had decided, hey, I'm going to put a travel ban on China. What did they say? He's been a xenophobe. He's been a racist. No, he was doing the right thing to protect the American citizens. So we learned about it in December 2019. Fast forward to January. What was happening with the Democrats? They were trying to impeach the president while he was working behind the scenes to control this thing. So fast forward today, I mean, I do believe that there's a certain element out there that are wishing this whole horrific virus on society because they wanted to take the economy so that this will have an adverse effect on the president come November 2020, the election. And I say to those people, shame on you. Not only are you voting against or betting against the president, but you're betting against America, the United States of America. And who will suffer? The same people that they claim to have their best interests at heart. The middle class, the poor people. They will suffer if the economy tanks, but they don't care.
Absolutely, Rob. I was watching the NBA this week when the announcement came that an NBA player, Rudy Gobert, actually tested positive for coronavirus. They shut down the game before it started. There was supposed to be a Pelicans-Kings game that night. They claimed it was going to happen, and then about 15 minutes before tip-off, a referee had just refereed the Utah Jazz player, Rudy Gobert, who tested positive a few days before, so they canceled that game also. And then they've just canceled the entire season. And then we've seen the NCAA tournament, the famous March Madness tournament, which is just billions of dollars in revenue that thing generates with all the brackets and everything. That's canceled. It's a real shame for the college kids who participate in the tournament that they'll never get an opportunity to play in the big tournament that they've most likely been looking forward to the rest of their entire lives.
Yep.
Just a couple of the setbacks we've seen. No Trump rallies are scheduled. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have both said that they won't be holding any events. Not that Joe Biden would have to worry about the crowd size anyways for one of his events.
But you know, Andy, what I think is interesting, something that you mentioned, you know, the cancellation of these huge events, sports events, concerts, and the media. I mean, from day one, they started talking about cancellations. We need to cancel this. We need to cancel that. And I thought it was extremely interesting how the Democrats immediately ran toward the president saying, is he going to cancel his rallies? He should cancel his rallies. The people that support him, doesn't he care about them? I'm like, why are you guys concerned about him canceling his rallies when you say not anyone shows up? Like, why are you concerned about his rallies? You would think they'd say, have the rallies, let all these people get sick so they can die. But they weren't saying it because they don't want the American people to see the support that this president has. They don't want that. So every day, even on the news, the news commentators, why isn't he going to cancel his rallies? He needs to cancel the rallies. It's like, what difference does it make? You guys aren't broadcasting rallies, so how do you know he's even having a rally? But they were so concerned about him holding the rallies. This is proof that they don't care about America. They just don't want people to see that this president is being supported.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely, Rob. Right, Rob. I also think it's quite hypocritical that MSDNC and fake news CNN have both been pointing their finger at President Trump like he should have been more prepared. He should have done more. Yet, if you watch their news program from 2 months ago, they weren't even mentioning the coronavirus, but now they're acting like they're experts and they've seen it all coming.
Exactly. They're behaving as if though they're experts when we have the Surgeon General, the U.S. Surgeon General, who's coming out, Jerome Adams, and saying, hey, folks, you know, go about your normal life. Don't freak out. Yes, be concerned. Be aware. Take the necessary precaution. But all of this, like, madness is taking place and people at the store. Like, can someone tell me, what does it do with tissue? What the heck? I'm like, you're not going to go home and just, like, let it all out and feel like, I need tissue. Where did this originate? I can see the food, but tissue? I'm like, if you run out of tissue, jump in the tub and wipe your bottom and be done with it. But this hoarding of tissue, people fighting over tissue. Now, years from now, months from now, we'll look back at this and I hopefully think that we can laugh. But it is the media that's creating this hysteria. I mean, when you look at what's happening, remember back when Obama was president, 2010, and we had the Ebola, we had SARS. He was way behind the 8 ball. How many people died? I think it was I think 400,000 or something. By the way, my numbers might not be right, but that died from Ebola and SARS. Whereas with this president, we only have, I think, like 47 deaths so far.
22,000 Americans died from the swine flu.
Okay, the swine flu. And here we are freaking out that only 48 Americans have died here in America. I think 1,700 are infected. Like, what is the big hoopla about? And then you're watching the market. It's like every day they keep going in hard. Oh, this is not going to look good. They want the markets to take so that the economy will take. And they're openly saying it. Look at BMR. I hope the economy tanks so this way we can get rid of Donald Trump. Like, are you guys even thinking about what you're saying? And I tweeted something the other day. I'm like, now, I bet if they were to say, hey, the president will win because of the virus, we should give the president 4 more years, I bet you they would clean this stuff up instantly. If they felt that, hey, he's starting to get another 4 years, they're going to decide, oh, we're not going to vote, we're just going to let him stay in another 4 years. They would wipe this out like 1, 2, 3.
The cure would be out tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, it would be gone. But right now, they're breeding fear. They want the American public to be fearful. And it's, I mean, you got to be careful, but come on, this is degree. But here's another thing. What happens in May? What happens in June? When it all goes away. Yes, the economy might suffer just a little bit, but because it was a strong economy, it's going to roar back. I hope to God it knocks the roof off. Because what's happening right now, this fear, doom and gloom, that fake news CNN, Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo, I mean, they should get, and I don't wish harm on anyone, but they should get this horrible, coronavirus so that we can quarantine them from the news. We don't need to hear them. If everyone in the news industry would just get it, we can quarantine them, and then maybe we can move forward. Because I'm telling you right now, what they're selling, what they're reporting on, is nothing but fear.
Yeah.
Nothing but fear, and that's it.
It's pretty sad how they're using this as another opportunity to bash President Trump. They see this as their new impeachment project right now in the fake news. That
It is.
Trump's poll numbers they think are going to plummet if they do enough coverage about how inept and unprepared he supposedly is for this crisis. Yet I think President Trump and especially Vice President Mike Pence have done a very good job thus far. What do you think of the job they've done, Rob?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and today when they came out with having these corporate leaders that are going to work with him. Mm-hmm. Now, no one ever saw this coming because, of course, the left, they're always attacking these individuals. But they're going to have them to come out, and that's what it takes. The government can't do everything. But to reach out and say, hey, we're going to have these corporate leaders to work with us. And I was watching, right before we went on the air, I was watching CNN and MSNBC. They were wrong. I mean, of course, they're stirring the pot and they're waiting to come out with something so they can attack the president. Oh, well, he's going to probably give them tax breaks. He's taking care of them. But it caught them off guard when he had them all up there doing the press conference today and them saying, this is what we're going to do. These are the tests that we're going to take. I'm like, that is phenomenal. Because no one ever imagined a thought to get them involved, and they should be involved because they have the manpower. They're the ones that we're going to do the tests, and they're the ones that people are going to go to get the necessary drugs. And speaking of drugs, this whole thing, I was completely unaware that 95% of our antibiotics are manufactured in China. 40% of our pain medication. Who came up with this business model to ship a lot of this stuff to China? Mm-hmm. I mean, this is ridiculous. The president has been talking about this for 30 years. We need to hastily bring back those jobs to America. There is no reason why we should be outsourcing a large percentage of things that we need to China. And now China is trying to blame America for the virus. And the media, they're just sitting there laughing, I guess. I mean, we've got to wake up. We've got to bring these jobs back home and employ our own people, employ our own middle class. I mean, we can't be trying to help China and India and Bangladesh and all these other places. We have workers here at home. We can train them. They need to have these jobs. We should not be dependent upon a foreign country who has given us this foreign virus. Yes, it's a foreign virus. Yes, it's a China virus. Yes, it's the Wuhan virus. CNN is having a connection because we're calling it the Wuhan virus. But back in January, they were doing the same thing. I've got the tape. Check it out on Twitter. They were saying the exact same thing. But now the president can't say it unless he's xenophobe. Like, give me a break.
One of the big narratives that the media took out of the press conference today was a reporter had questioned President Trump about him meeting with, I believe it was a Brazilian ambassador at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend, and he shook his hand, and this guy has tested positive for coronavirus, and they made a huge uproar that President Trump is still out doing his job instead of quarantining himself. That was the best narrative that I seen the fake news come up with after watching that great press conference he held today. Did you see that, Rob?
I saw that, and that particular reporter, I don't care for her at all.
No.
She's always trying to come out with some little zinger and say, we got you. But here's the thing, here's my take on it. Okay. Now, of course, the president is more than likely concerned. I'm sure his wife is concerned, and for the concern of his children and his staff. But what do you bet? If he were to go out and get tested, the first thing the media would say, he got tested and normal people can't get tested. How could he? How dare he? So no matter what he does, they're going to spin it negatively. And there was another reporter from NPR who stood up and was saying, how do you feel about defunding the whole pandemic wing or group that was set up? I mean, they're always trying, it's like they're always looking behind as opposed to looking in front. Because they want to attack this president on every front. But I got news for them. What he has done and what he's doing now is unprecedented. And no one, not even Barack Obama, could have thought of something like this. But see, he has connections because he's a businessman. And they don't like it. They hate the fact that he has all these different corporations that are going to work with him. Now, of course, things might be a little bumpy initially, but it will smooth out. And it opens up more doors with more wings for people to go in and get tested. And why the heck do they want everyone tested in the first place? It's going to take away the resources of those individuals who actually do need it, but they don't care. They're making the American public feel that, oh, you need to be tested. There are too many people out there, and we don't know how many people who actually have the virus because they haven't been tested. So are you telling me that everyone should be tested, which will be a waste of time? How about letting those individuals who are actually sick? Because if we keep saying, hey, you're sick, or this is going to happen, people will psychologically start thinking that they are sick. Right now, I was looking online from, I think, October 1st, 2019 to February 1st, 2020, 12,000 people have died from the flu. Why aren't people concerned about that? Whereas the coronavirus, the success rate, people who are living, 65%. Only 47 Americans have died so far. And unfortunately, it happens to be individuals who are older and have a compromising respiratory system, immune system. So why aren't we more concerned about the flu? Why are we allowing this? I'll tell you why. Because that's what the media wants. I heard someone say Don Lemon went off on former Governor Kasich because he said that the president's address on Wednesday was, somewhat okay. Lemon couldn't take it. He actually had a meltdown. No, it wasn't. I'm like, if you can't see the biases coming from these individuals, the fear factor that they're trying to create, you don't want to see it. Yeah, you don't want to see it.
That was disgraceful. Kasich just said that President Trump's speech at the White House was fine. He didn't even really talk it up that much, but Don Lemon just got completely incensed at just the idea that President Trump didn't do a horrible job, and which is what he had already had in his mind and his narrative. It was just so
absolutely
unprofessional. It was ridiculous.
Well, Don Lemon is a professional, and although he likes to consider himself a journalist, I don't consider him a journalist at all. I consider him a hack. He should be working for the National Enquirer, and even their reporters have more dignity and professionalism than Don Lemon or anyone at fake news CNN. Even Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper started out years ago trying to be a somewhat investigative journalist, but I think it all went to his head, the spotlight, all the camera, live action, it went to his head. And now the guys at CNN, they are complete skeletons of who they used to be. And it's really sad because you have the guy at the top, Zucker, what is that his name? Zucker, who is selling this stuff because his whole mantra is, by any means necessary, let's destroy Donald Trump. And in doing so, they're destroying America, and they don't care. Anyone who's going to do their darndest to try and bring down the market, when we see that we have a strong economy, folks, we have a very strong economy, a robust economy. Yes, the stock market was going up and down. It was the lowest it has been since, I think, 1987. But just imagine when it comes back. Man, it's going to be phenomenal.
Luckily, we have a president who has proven that he is very good at taking care of the economy, and I have no doubt that he will have it bounce right back up here in a couple of months once the scare gets over with. Before we move on here, how long do you think this scare is going to last? Here in Illinois, we just banned all schools from attending until March 30th. There's only been 32 cases so far in the state. Yeah, the NBA, they did a 30-day suspension thus far. And they're going to reassess where everything's at. How long do you think we're going to see this ban, or do you see it getting all the way to the point that Italy's at, where it's just a full-scale quarantine throughout the entire country?
Well, a couple of things. I'm glad you mentioned Italy. First, to answer your question, how long do I think it's going to last? It all depends. If people constantly look at the media, listen to the media, I mean, it could get worse. And I heard some people say it'll get worse before it gets better. I was glad that Dr. Fauci came out and explained himself when he said that, this is a complete disaster. We failed as far as preparing for this. But what happened was that he was talking about overall, not that what the president was doing failed, but he was saying that the CDC, that we're not prepared to handle a pandemic at this level. Their systems weren't prepared for something like this. Not that the planning that we're doing so far is a failure, but of course the liberal media took that and ran with it. And even Fox News, I hate to say it, but we even lead up with Dr. Fauci said that we failed. And then today he came out to the press conference and he explained himself. He said, I'm not saying that we failed in the planning that we're doing now. He said, but the failure is that we weren't prepared overall for something of this nature. The processes and procedures that we have in place weren't designed for anything like this. Needless to say, no one is talking about that or explaining that to the people. They only heard we failed and they're running with it. But so, folks, again, we didn't fail. He was saying that the way the system was built was a failure. Now, to answer your question as to how long this is going to last, it's anyone's guess. Of course, as the warmer months come up on us, things will probably dissipate. I think that we'll get back to normal, probably start getting back to normal within the next week, 2 weeks or so. But there's a possibility that more people with symptoms of this horrendous virus, but that's not to say that they will get sick, because there are probably people who have it right now that are self-quarantining or doing home remedies, and they're getting better not knowing that they actually had it. So that's a good thing. So I would say to people, just like the flu, I mean, I don't think I have it, but who knows? I feel perfectly well. But if there are other individuals that are out there that do have it and do exhibit those symptoms, stay at home. But don't run to your doctor and then get in the way of the people who really do need the help. Thankfully, like I said, the president is working with the corporation, CVS, Walgreens, Quest Diagnostic, and all those other corporations that will set up, Walmart, that will set up all these little temporary boxcar places for people to go in and get tested. So that's huge. I think that's good. You mentioned Italy and them quarantining the entire country. Well, I think what people have to realize, and I did a little research, is that it started out in northern Italy, the fashion industry. A lot of the fashions that are made in northern Italy come from where? China. Not only that, but a lot of Chinese have been going to Italy and buying up a lot of the vineyards and villas and whatnot because of the warm temperature. Hence, that's the reason why we have a lot of a huge concentration of the coronavirus in Italy. It just didn't happen by chance. It's because of the close proximity and the business dealings that the Italians have with the Chinese. Also, Iran. No other country is doing business with Iran but China. So you have a huge concentration of the virus in Iran also. These are facts that the media will not tell you. The other countries in Europe that are affected. Again, the Chinese have huge business dealings with them. Hence, you have this huge population or concentration of the virus. Now let's bring it full speed here to the United States. Apparently what happened, you have had one person or persons coming from China here. Where did it start out? D.C. I mean, not D.C., but Washington State. What's in Washington State? Huge tech community. Where's the connection? In China, because of technology there also. Look at Apple. Where's Apple concentrated in China? In the Wuhan province. So we have to connect the dots. Things that the media is not going to do for you because they want to preach doom and gloom. But I did a little Googling and I'm like, there you go right there. That's how it jumped over here. Because of that transfer of businesses from China to Washington State, from Italy to China, and then the other little places in Europe. And then from Washington State, it started to spread to California. Well, what's next to Washington State? California. And then from there, people come to New York. So it just starts to spread. And that's the reason why the president put a ban on China, because what you see that's happening is that the Chinese, I hate to say it, but they don't seem to care. They're going to come here regardless, knowing that, hey, I'm infected. And that's the reason why we have these bans of people being in these large groups of people in different areas, and professional football, not football, but basketball, hockey. They're saying, hey, we're going to shut it down. Why? Because if you were to have it, you would have people who are sick, knowing that they're sick, but what are they going to do? Oh, I want to go to the concert. Oh, I want to go to the game. I want to go to the basketball. As opposed to thinking, but you're going to infect someone. So I do think that it's necessary because people they're not considerate of their neighbors. It's just like the man who was infected, knowing he was infected. What is he going to do? Jump on a JetBlue plane. Another guy, knowing he was infected, what is he going to do? Go to a dance with his daughter. It's like, dude, come on. So when you see people in the media saying, oh, the president, he should put a ban on traveling in the United States, or he should ban everyone, we shouldn't be allowed to go out. Well, if he were to do that, you're going to have those idiots who are going to push the boundaries and still go out. And then you're going to have pandemonium that's created, which is something the media want. What do we have pandemonium right now? With tissue paper. People, come on. How many butts do you have to wipe? I mean, why are you going to the supermarket getting all the tissue? I know someone right now who has a basement full of tissue. I'm like, what are you going to do when you don't need all the tissue? Oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to use tissue, buy tissue for another year. I'm like, just stop and think about what they're making you look like clowns.
Yeah.
But I wanted to connect, going back to what I was saying, I wanted to connect the dots between China, Washington State, and Italy. And that's the reason why you have these huge concentrations of the viruses there, because these communities are intertwined with people going backwards and forward. It just didn't happen by chance. There's a direct connection. The direct connection between northern Italy, the fashion industry, a lot of the fashion industry make their clothes in China. So they go backwards and forward. You have a lot of Chinese that are buying villas and vineyards in northern Italy, and it just starts to spread. Then from the Wuhan province in China, you have the tech community. What do? They leave there and they go to Washington, Seattle. So there's a connection, folks. There's a connection. So it just didn't happen by chance, the way the media is trying to make us fear that it did, but that's your connection right there.
Absolutely. I think the question I asked is actually kind of impossible for you to be able to answer because the panic that we've seen has been driven by the media, so it kind of just depends on how long the media keeps hitting the panic button on this.
Exactly. And how long will people stick with them before they realize and wake up and say, wait a minute, they push Russia collusion and nothing came of it. They pushed this whole thing with Ukraine. Nothing came of it. Then they pushed impeachment. Nothing came of it. So now it's the economy that they're going to
This
attack.
is the first time where they've pushed something that's affecting Americans every day.
Exactly.
So it should be interesting to see.
Affecting the bottom line. Yep.
Yes, people will get tired of it if they're not getting paid and if the virus numbers do not keep going up.
Exactly.